Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. It's New Year's Eve 2017, and I figured that I would go ahead and record a drunken New Year's Eve vlog for everybody. So, it's going to be a horror story of sorts. This one is going to be the story of the first time I ever got so drunk I vomited. And it's fitting that I'm doing it on New Year's Eve because the first time I ever got drunk enough to vomit was on New Year's Eve of New Year's Eve 1999, New Year's Day 2000, depending on how you want to celebrate it. So, I was, oh damn, how old was I back then? I think I was old enough to drink? I don't know. Right now is not a good time to ask me to do math. Anyway, it was a great big event back then. You know, everybody had the Y2K scare going on. We were all afraid that the computers were going to launch nuclear weapons everywhere and destroy the entire world, and no, actually it just turns out that Russia used it as an excuse to fire a few missiles at Chechnya. So that was the extent of the system failures for Y2K, this big hyped up doomsday scenario that had been coming about. It was supposedly the Millennium celebration, but then everybody pointed out that there was no year zero, so it was actually the New Year celebration would be 2001 instead of 2000, but it was the flip the front number celebration, so everybody was excited. I was living with my brother at the time, which is a whole other horror story in and of itself. How much wine do I have in this glass right now? Oh. Anyway, this was one of the cooler moments of living with my brother. He had, and I'm doing some air quotes right now, been the beneficiary of a bar shipment that, long story short, it got billed to the restaurant he was working for, and the boss didn't want it, and my brother knew that it wasn't gonna... Long story short, my brother ended up with, like, a case of good champagne. On top of which, I think we got a bottle of, like, bottom shelf scotch. Lauder's scotch. It's like the worst crap you can ever drink. It's like scotch in name only. I think the only reason it's called scotch is because, you know, like, somebody in Scotland probably, like, distilled some crap out of a peat bog and threw it into a bottle and said, hey, yeah, sell that to the Yanks. And, of course, it's called scotch, so we buy it. I had, like, a fifth of that around, and my brother had this champagne, and I was new to drinking. I don't even remember how damn old I was back then. Don't ask me to do math. Shut up. So, around 10 o'clock, I decide, okay, it's 10 o'clock, I've only got 2 hours to go, I'm gonna get started so I can be nice and festive when the new year rolls around. And, you know, it started off good. I had some of this scotch, and I think the very next thing I did after that scotch was I ate this big, thick roast beef sandwich, because I'd heard a long time ago if you eat something with a lot of fat in it, it retards the emptying of the stomach, so you eat something like really nice and fatty and full like that before you go drinking, and it should keep you from getting too messed up. I had completely neglected the lessons I learned in high school that if you drink something carbonated, it hits your bloodstream faster. So, midnight rolls around. I'm already pretty well hit. I had a few friends over. My brother was there with his fiance at the time. And, we're all just kind of there for a friends and family get-together. Midnight rolls around and I start hitting the champagne. And he was popping open the good bottles. And I'm like, oh, hey, champagne, let me read the alcohol content. Oh, this is only, few proof this is nothing on scotch. Except I didn't realize that I was putting carbonation into my body, sitting on top of distilled spirits, and also with alcohol coming in. I start getting on my email, because I also didn't realize how bad it was to write emails when you're very intoxicated. That was a whole another thing to deal with when I woke up. I'm writing, Happy New Millennium to people, and the sober ones are saying, yeah, it's not the new millennium, and I was like, well, fuck you, we're flipping the front number, that's the only important one. Probably about 20 minutes into year 2000, I was starting to realize that I had perhaps partaken a tad too much. And so I go upstairs and say, hey, I think I just need to take a shower. And so I sat in a shower and I heard my brother narrating from outside, and this is one of the most grating times that he was ever correct about something. He starts saying, oh, he's going to get into that shower. He's going to turn that shower on. He's going to have that warm water on him for a while. He's going to feel okay. But he's only going to be in there for so long. Then the hot water is going to run out of the hot water heater. It's going to get cold. He's going to have to get out. And then it's going to hit him. And I'm sitting in there in that shower like, fuck him. He's not going to be right about this. He's not going to be right about this. And I'm there, and I'm showering. And then I'm like on the floor of the shower, letting water hit me because standing up is just not working out at that point. And he was right. The hot water heater ran out. I was sitting there shivering in cold water, having had far too much to drink, very much realizing I was going to have to get out of that shower, and once I did, I was going to have to start dealing with a reckoning of sorts. So, I of course crawl out of that shower, freezing cold, get into my room, lay a towel out on the floor, lay down on that towel, and then that roast beef sandwich from earlier came up on that towel. And it kept coming, and kept coming, and then there were dry heaves, and bile, and all sorts of horrible, awful, wicked stuff. And I wrapped up that towel, I pushed it out into the hallway, I shut the door, and I put my face on the carpet. And there I sat for the next hour. My brother eventually did come up to check on me and see me completely naked on the bedroom floor, face down, facing the carpet, and said, just checking to make sure you're face down. Thanks. Like, by the way, when you get up in the morning, clean off the carpet out in front of your room. The vomit soaked through the towel. You get to clean that. Thanks. And so I woke up the next day, hungover, realizing what I had done to myself, cleaned that carpet in front of my room, realized that even though you can get sick enough to vomit, you will, in the morning, live, because at the time it feels like you're gonna die. And went downstairs, and I think I didn't drink again for probably another, like, month after that. That was too much for me. Went downstairs and started dealing with all the things I had written on the computer while drunk. That was fun. But, yeah, that was the story of the first time I got drunk enough to throw up. And it's a fitting story to tell because it was on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and it's New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So, happy 2018. I hope that nobody listening to this is currently bent over a toilet listening to my story. I hope you all have a good year. I have enjoyed making videos this year. I've enjoyed writing this year, and I hope to just do more of it next year and just have fun doing it. All right. Thank you, everybody. May God have mercy on my soul.